Alright guys, what's going on? 5869 with replay analysis number 47. This time we're going to be going over the Winter Wyvern, who says he's at about 2.7k or something like that. So I said, you know what, he helped his SF mid lane quite a bit, but it didn't really matter that much. They still ended up losing the game, and you know, he really wasn't sure why, what happened in his team fights, yada yada yada. So hopefully we'll be able to take a look at his game and tell him what he's doing right, what he's doing wrong, stuff like that. Early on, itemization, not all that bad. He's got a ward as well as a smoke early on here. And he's going to kind of give away the fact that he's got a smoke, unfortunately. I would like him to normally just like hide that, maybe leave it somewhere. But I don't think it's a big deal. SF getting first blood is pretty massive there. He's also got the bounty rune, and he'll definitely be happy with that one. As they are still chasing over here, and don't really need to, but not that big of a deal here. I would probably give one of the clarities to the bristleback, since I think it's so important here. Keep an eye on this. Okay, so a couple things that we can talk about first off. So that's pretty good. But I got a little bit. 1 second here. All right, so a couple things. First, when you do a mid like this, kind of like a dual lane mid, and you look to pressure the opponent's mid, you have to do it a certain way. And the way to do it is that you have to try to not soak up as much EXP as possible. So it sounds weird, right? So you're kind of, at the very beginning, you're just like pressuring them right in front of the creep wave. You actually tank the range creep a little bit. And there's a couple things that this does. First thing, you're soaking a lot of the EXP from the Shadow Fiend, who's very reliant on getting level 4, level 5 as quick as possible, because level 3 Raise is so incredibly strong at allowing him to win the lane. Really, you only need to be here for 1 or 2 Arctic Burns, and then just leave. That's about it, right? Because it's only good for chewing through the refractions and making this TA have to back off. 2, what that also does is, since you start tanking, I think 2 creeps there, the range creep and 1 melee creep, maybe even more, your lane naturally starts to push, right? Your mid lane naturally starts to push, because now instead of the creeps hitting your creeps, the creeps are hitting you, while your creeps are still hitting those creeps. So yours are pushing while theirs aren't counter pushing back, right? They're hitting you, they're not really doing anything. Now, because of this, you now have 2 range creeps stacked, as well as the fact that I think this guy raised a couple creep waves, but you now have 2 range creeps stacked. You're pushing it towards the tower, which isn't always bad. It's not you, I guess it's the SF here. It's getting pushed towards the tower, which wouldn't be bad if this was around the 2-minute mark and the SF was going to go secure a rune with his bottle and everything. As of right now, it's not really doing much other than giving the TA, who was originally forced at a lane, EXP that she's going to be able to get under tower. Maybe the bounty hunter can come around and pressure her, but I doubt it. He's only level 1. He's looking for a courier snipe, but that's not going to happen at all, just because the TA wasn't able to get any CS. So the way you want to play this, first of all, is usually you want to position yourself somewhere like right here, potentially right here, depending on where the TA is. The ward, normally you want directly in the mid lane, so you have vision of both the left and the right. But you usually want to start here because you can Arctic Burn over the river and usually get enough range in order to hit the TA once, twice, maybe 3 times. Basically, you just want to run in, Arctic Burn him a couple times, get rid of the refractions. SF can either leave it, right-click the TA, raise her a couple times, whatever the SF maybe feels comfortable doing. It doesn't really matter. After that, you want to back, because you should do this right at the first creep wave, like immediately. And then right after that, you should back up, stack the large camp. You have a Shadow Fiend, you're on Radiant side. Stacks are so efficient for Radiant Shadow Fiend, it's ridiculous. So although you may feel like you're helping the SF win the lane, sure, you're helping him win the lane, but it's a dual lane, it's a fairly inefficient dual lane, and you've essentially just wasted this first minute here, and I'm going to expect a little bit longer. It's also being played a little bit improperly as well, because the bounty's waiting to snipe a bottle, but the wave's going to be pushed way back. So the TA, you know, normally the TA likes to be up front, and you like the courier to be bringing the bottle all the way here. If she's somewhere around here, it's kind of sketchy, because you could die, or you might not even get a kill on the courier, and in which case it's just a huge waste of time. So we'll keep an eye on how this goes. We'll watch your player perspective here. and see what you go to do. So you're looking to ward bottom, I imagine sometime soon, since it's still in your inventory. You also have the smoke up, so if they're clicking on you and they're seeing your items, they're probably feeling a little bit pressured because you've got that smoke. So there you go, ward down. Looks like you're ready to go bot lane. Top lane, Bristleback's doing alright. And one more thing here. When you're playing up against a TA, I think it's actually better almost always, even though you're at a lower skill level right now, I think it's almost always better to ward up here on this cliff. Reason being is that it still shows you if you're going to get rotated on around the river. This ward doesn't actually give you that much, in my opinion. Unless you put it closer up here, because then it'll give you some more vision over here. But the reason why you want to put it here is because TAs normally like to stack the Ancients at about 50-ish, 53-ish, sorry, and then it gives them time to get the rune as well. So TAs like to stack the Ancients, especially dire TAs. So if you put the ward here, you can see if she's stacking Ancients, and you have a lot of heroes that are good at contesting that, right? You've got the Witch Doctor, the Bristleback, Bounty Hunter, heroes that can contest the Ancients if she decides to go do them. Just something to keep in mind, if you're playing against a hero that likes to do the Ancients, try to ward up on the Ancients while giving, you know, some rotation sight as well. So it looks like you're coming up for the wraparound gank, and whether or not it's going to be that useful, I mean, the SF's already having a pretty good time in lane, right? Like, the TA isn't really that pushed out. It looks like she's probably going to go down now. The Bounty Hunter's here. SF needs to hit the raise. He does. So you help him get that kill. That's pretty good. You're hitting at about the 51-second mark. Should just return. You should suicide to neutrals right now, actually. That would be the most efficient thing, because you'll respawn in like 6 seconds or something like that. 7 seconds. Something ridiculously low since you're only level 1 still. And you won't lose out any gold. You could have bought a TP and then gone back. Boots as well are very important on your hero, so you want to be able to get your boots as soon as possible. Wyvern's move speed is actually fairly low, 285 compared to like everybody else. Most of them are at like 305, 390-ish. So boots are pretty important on your hero. Just something to keep in mind, that you want to try and hit that boot timing ASAP for sure. Wyvern doesn't really need too many items, but boots is certainly one of them. So you should keep an eye on what's going on. Bot lane is like a solo Witch Doctor. I don't know. You could pretty easily kill the AA. The Lena's right behind you. I don't think you noticed that. Maybe a little bit of map awareness could have helped out there. Gonna go with the Arctic Burn now. She's gonna Light Strike Array. Does she have Dragon Slave? I would imagine so, but it doesn't matter because Arctic Burn is a good ability. He's gonna turn around with the Cold Feet. He's got Cask. That'd be such a good Cask. If only you had Splinter Blast. You turn around, not sure why. As it's probably going to be the death of you. Yeah, so that was bad. He actually saved your life, and you should have just ran, but that's just a minor play. I'm sure you recognize that. You're probably like, fuck, I should have just let whatever happen. I can't believe that Bounty just got that career. But you go mid lane again, and at this point it doesn't matter, right? Once SF hits level 5, he doesn't need your help, like, whatsoever. Unless the enemy mate is like a much better player. If you want to help the SF, you stack. You stack the jungle as much as possible, and you just give them the stack. So you go and you ward their pull camp. Pretty nice for your offlaner. That's kind of cool, but you die for it, and that's not worth it whatsoever. Your second point, I would always save the second point on Wyvern. You don't know if Splinter Blast will be useful. Cold Embrace may actually be more useful, in fact, so you don't always want to get it. Bounty Hunter's going to kill the TA. That's pretty nice. SFS treads now. But it just kind of seems you've been running around a lot, and you kind of haven't done anything, right? Like, you haven't stacked camps. You helped secure 1 kill mid. Looks like you're pushing out like an AA bottom, but I mean, these kills don't really matter, and it looks like, yeah, you're going to help get that one, so that's kind of nice. Give him a Cold Embrace. She's got a lot of magical damage, but you're only level 3 at, like, actually level 3 at 7 minutes. Almost level 4 is actually pretty good. This Lena, oh my god, that was ridiculously close. Nice plays there. Witch Doctor doing a pretty good job of keeping his own shit up. You're going to soak up a bunch bot lane. Doing a pretty good job of soaking EXP and farm. Still haven't bought any boots or anything yet. You don't have a TP to rotate. Let's see what happened in that fight, actually. So this Bristleback's just like diving like crazy top lane. And he's going to... Okay, he ran the wrong way into the call down. Not much you could have done. I was going to say maybe you could have rotated, helped him out there, but he just dies. That gyro's dead to Maledict. It doesn't matter. Tries to lifesteal it, but it doesn't matter. Alright, so not much you could have helped out there. But you should have... there you go. You finished full mana boots. That's nice. Still pushing bot lane. Doing alright. Doing alright. But now that happens. So you have a TP. You have quite a bit of mana that you're using to Splinter Blast, unfortunately. But let's see what's going on. So right now you're just like bot lane, except you're not the carry, right? So you're getting a lot from this bot lane. That's great. You guys have like 3 supports. I understand. However, a lot's going down top lane, and I really think they need you there. So keep an eye on this. Like 3 people die, and they're all at your tower, right? So you've got a TP. You've got mana to turn around these fights. Let's start all off. This guy throws a missile down, gets a call down. He's using rocket barrage. Yes, a lot of the damage is magical, but if you TP in, you could probably save him. At the very least, you can most likely save the bounty. You could turn it around. You've got your ultimate as well as a Splinter Blast that you could have used. You had mana boots as well. And you probably could have saved at least one hero to make it a 2-for-1. If not, killed the gyro before he's able to get off so many rocket barrages and stuff. So you're sitting bot lane. You're not sure, you know, why you guys lose. It's kills like that where you're a Wyvern. You're meant to help out, not to push towers. That's kind of why, right? So I like that nice little bit of efficiency. Not many people know to do that. Isn't really that helpful, but whatever. You finish your full wand. You buy 2 clarities, even though you've got mana boots and it's 12 minutes into the game. Definitely don't need those. Definitely don't need those. I would say if you need it, it'll be a mango, and it'll be because you need the burst mana. I understand where you're coming from. You're like, oh, I'd like to stay out on the map a little bit more. I'll grab a couple clarities. But realistically, how many kills just happened there? What happened top lane? Bristleback and Bounty died again, or was that the same thing? I don't know. Either way, you should be team fighting, not just split pushing. You really don't need any more items. You end up getting picked off anyways, so just pretty greedy play. The map is now wardless, unfortunately. Finally buy a couple wards, but it's a little bit late. You probably missed a couple rotations there. And now you're getting some wards up. You probably should have recognized that they have a ward on your Ancients there. Nice Winter's Curse, nice Shadow Fiend ulti. But Gyrocopter going to do gyro things. Actually, probably going to go down here. That's nice. Good stuff. They don't really need you for this kill, but you'll help out anyways. Bristle's going to get that one. And now you guys are going to continue to push. You did AA ulti, and the Bristle dies, unfortunately. So now you've got a Glimmer Cape. Not bad. You've got some nice items. Now you should just be standing with your team like the entire time. You should probably always have a Dust, even though you've got Track. But pretty bad misplay that fight. So you kind of just TP into the mid tier 1, even though the bottom tier 2 would have been way better here. This SF is pretty well dead, I would say. There's the Warlock ulti. SF getting chased down. Witch Doctor's going to go down as well. So now he's trying to run. You kind of got in the middle of the AA. You couldn't really do much there. And just a fair misplay there. This gyro is probably going to kill you for sure. Being a little bit too scary. You know that they're all in your jungle. You know they're all in your jungle. And there's nobody at the tower yet, right? So kind of a misplay. You see the gyro there. You should probably turn around immediately because they're all just in your jungle. And now nobody's at the tower. So what's going to happen? They're all just going to walk up and kill you. And you die. And yeah, not really much else to say. You could have glimmered and got out of that one easily instead of using your heal. Because they really had no vision for you. So you could have gotten away there. A little bit of a misplay for sure. But mostly, a lot of it comes down to the early game. You, instead of rotating and pressuring the enemy cores with your team and stuff like that, helping out in these team fights, which is what Wyvern's so good at, you kind of stayed bottom a little bit too long. I'm okay with you staying bottom long enough to get your mana boots, but immediately after, you should have just TP'd top. Look to help your team, pressure this tier 1, expose the enemy jungle, cut it off, try to de-ward whatever defensive wards they may have there. Again, you probably should have been aware that they had this ward here. You kind of saw the Lina just walk up, look at the cliff, and then turn around. So you should be aware they have a ward there. And if you're not, if you're going to buy sentries and you're always a little bit unsure of where you should de-ward, if you put a sentry ward right here, right in this corner, it'll actually deward if there's a ward up on here, as well as the ward up on here. So just a nice deward spot for you in case you didn't know it, or anybody else who may be watching. Nice little team fight there as well. You probably should have healed this SF so he doesn't have to return home, although he's buying a BKB anyways, I guess. But still, I would have just healed him, as well as giving him mana boots, keep everything a little bit more efficient here. Maxing Arctic Burn, I'm okay with that, I guess. I wouldn't mind maxing the heal, though, considering how much HP regen, as well as the cooldown that it gives you. But it's not a big deal. Just a small thing there. And wards now. Alright, so you get a nice D ward there. The ward's almost out anyways, though. So it's still good. You get it with, I think, about a minute-ish left over. Not bad whatsoever. Bounty's got eyes on Lena. I believe you guys should have had eyes on TA there. And should be able to get that kill with this Q. Yes, so it does get the track kill. That's nice. You kind of follow the whole time, which is incredibly unnecessary since you're so far away. So if you die here, well, it's going to be why. And it looks like you will die here. Yeah, so you follow him. You're way too far behind. Now they don't have you for this team fight. There's a nice BKB Requiem, but that's about it. You're not here for the team fight. And now most likely your team's just going to get kited and die because they have way more damage. And there it goes. Yeah, so he's going to go down, Bristleback. TA gets the Bristle. He's looking for a haste rune. Doesn't even matter. Yes, because she misses her Light Strike Array. She tries to go for that. Alright, so the Witch Doctor manages to get away. TA misplayed that one more so. And now you may actually die again. So that's it, man. Like, those are a lot of deaths that don't need to happen there. So you literally just saw them there chasing the Witch Doctor. You know they're probably somewhere around here. Maybe you assume they turn around. Sentry ward there isn't really that necessary since they haven't been on this side of your river in your jungle really at all this game. So it's not like they're going to have a ward there. I would be more concerned about probably warding your jungle and potentially dewarding up here as well as down here, which there's two sentries there. So you know there's no wards around. You didn't really have to put the sentry there. And now you've died a lot. You've died 6 times in 23 minutes. And I know you're a support, so you're probably like, hey man, I mean, I only died 6 times. It's not that big of a deal. This Bristleback died 8. Yes, I completely understand probably how you feel, how you think about stuff like that. But 2 of the deaths, those last 2 deaths were completely unnecessary. And if I was better at analyzing or paying more attention, I probably would have showed you how much gold you lost there as well. So a nice Winter's Curse. Using your heal on yourself, you kind of need to stay alive. BKB Gyro, there's the call down. You don't get a glimmer off on yourself. Gyrocopter's just going to eat this SF alive. This guy's going to be able to barely TP out. And again, you guys have lost 4 for 2, but it was 2 supports. And at this point, the game's just starting to go too far in the enemy favor. They're about 2,000 net worth ahead and about 3,000 EXP. Gyro and TA are both really, really strong while they're ahead. And of course, you've got the Lena, who's just going to get fatter and fatter once she gets that level 11, which she probably has already. No, she's only level 9, probably because she's been disconnected a couple times, maybe. But either way, it's starting to get a little bit sketchy for you guys. Dewarding and warding's going well for you. This bounty's going to get caught out. I believe you have to be really careful. There's a nice Winter's Curse onto the Warlock. But was it enough? I don't think so. You could have just TP'd out, like, right. So let's see. Right here, I mean, just TP. Golem can't touch you. They're way too far away. 100% you just TP out right here. Or you TP to the tier 2 and you run back up towards your jungle in order to help your team. So instead, this guy gets blown up. You kind of run away. You get blown up. 633 gets a double kill. Probably level 11 as well. Accidentally self-uses somehow. And nice ulti by the Witch Doctor actually helps get a little bit back there. TA probably going to feed here. I'm not sure what she was thinking. She's going to go down. So that ends up being a good fight. Not really because you bought your team time, because you could have done that no matter what. Mostly because the enemy team just played it poorly. Imagine if you would have TP'd to the tier 2 and just ran back into the fight. The Warlock's not going to bash you or anything. He's going to do a little bit of damage, but it's not that scary, right? Or the Golem, sorry, not the Warlock. The Golem's not going to do all that much damage, so just keep that in mind. Nice dewarding here again. Get another nice deward there. Alright, kind of a nice fight. You get the ulti over here onto the gyro. Huge Witch Doctor ulti. So that was great. That was a really nice Winter's Curse. I don't know why you thought that they didn't really do anything, because you've actually had a lot of nice Winter's Curses, man. So you did a good job. Now you're helping your team take Roshan. You should be really, really careful and not let that TA blink in, because she's going to try to. And she does, but she dies anyways. Now the Lina is here. You're helping catch the Lina. There's a free bottle there. Nice pick. Now you guys are pushing. Good job. Getting the Arctic burn off. Splinter Blast. Gonna miss on that one a little bit, but you still get the Lina kill. Now you get the Winter's Curse. A little preemptive. Kind of wasted on that one. And that's you know, you want to make sure not only your team, but also their team's in position for a curse. So if you're going to use Winter's Curse, make sure your team can follow up and use that lockdown damage. If not, it's kind of a waste. You're going to heal yourself. That's quite nice. But it also, one thing I have noticed as well, is that you've also been up kind of right-clicking these heroes a lot instead of staying in the back, getting your glimmer off, getting your heal off. So you've used it a lot on yourself, but you kind of have to be a little bit careful. Like during that team fight, that whole Winter's Curse fiasco never should have happened, because you never should have been up there, right? So they get the Lina. It's like a couple supports up there. Your SF and your Bristle are a little bit behind. There's no reason why you should be up at the front right now. So you Winter's Curse, obviously no communication there. Your team's not really paying attention. The SF backs up a little bit because of the ALT, and a completely wasted Winter's Curse. Realistically, you should have been back near the SF, because you didn't help out that fight. Like, I got Death Ward off anyways and shit like that. And right now you should be like, alright guys, we should probably back up. The SF just goes ham, and the Bristle can't help him. He's just gonna die. Eul Scepter, like Shrek Array, Laguna. Lina's this pretty sick hero. So that's how that team play was misplayed. You need to stay in the back, or at least in the middle of all four of your teammates here, in order to play properly. Now that you have a Blink Dagger, you should definitely play these fights a lot safer. And you guys just kind of getting caught out here. So let's try to take a look at this one a little bit. So you see the gyro there, and you go for the Arctic burn. He starts with the missile, but there's one very, very important thing here. Oh my god. Alright, so can you see the TA bottom? I don't believe so. No. You can't see the TA bottom. So you start this fight, you go on this gyro, and you only have vision of the Warlock. You have no idea who's up here. You have no wards. No idea if the TA is there, if the Lina's there, who else is there. And lo and behold, the Lina, as well as I believe the Ancient Apparition, end up being there. And I mean, there's not really much else to say. A gets his ulti off. You get Laguna bladed and go down. And it looks like the gyro, his team totally abandoned him there. I'm not sure what that Lina was doing. That should have been 2 kills for sure, because they were still under A there. So it's actually ended up being a good trade, mostly because the enemy team misplayed though, and actually it ends up being a 2-for-1 there, as well as the A just going down. So now that's really bad for you guys. They disengage as well. And gem, you pick up a gem as well. Not bad. Where's your Blink Dagger? Did you sell it? Did you sell your blink for a gem? No way. Oh no, you didn't. Alright, I'm blind obviously. I don't know what's happening. Alright, so here we go. Keep on your perspective. You guys see that there's a couple at Ancients. Keep an eye. You guys should probably look to take a Roshan. You really need some more wards up. God, this is the worst. None in stock, I guess. Who has them all? Do you have them? No. Does Bounty have them? No. Anybody have them? No. Are the wards just actually out of stock because they dewarded you guys? I guess so. Huh. Alright, well, I guess there's just no wards in stock. Not really much you can say about that. Again, that was a pretty poor Winter's Curse. You just kind of panic and use it. So you see the fight's going to start. Bounty Hunter isn't going to die just yet. You see that the TA's in the back, the Warlock's near there as well. You're like, oh look, somebody in a Winter's Curse. And who's in the AoE? Absolutely nobody. So you Winter's Curse an AA, which does like absolutely nothing. And you get a nice heal off on them, and a Glimmer as well, but it doesn't matter, he dies. And you don't give up the gem, that's really important. But you guys probably could have gotten 2 or 3 that fight without losing one if it was a proper Winter's Curse. Now they have a minute where they can push in. They got a call down, Bristleback dies. You guys end up getting a couple kills, which is nice. You start pushing down the mid lane. 1200 gold. Witch Doctor just bought a shit ton of wards. He's like, I got a Hex, I don't care. He's gonna deward there. Nice stuff. You guys are thinking about Roshan. Yule Scepter. Alright, keep an eye on you because there might be a fight soon. And this is scary. This is a really bad fight for you guys. You guys are split up. It looks like you're waiting for the Winter's Curse this time. You have a blink. You should be like on the very edge of the fight. You should be like right now your camera's on yourself. Your camera should be most likely on this guy right here. You need to be watching this SF because your only priority right now is saving this SF. You back up way too far this time for some reason. You like run all the way into the Roche Pit even though it's only a TA up front. And now the SF is most likely going to die. He's really cut off from the team fight. Most importantly, you went in the pit and just like hit one of the TA traps for no reason. He dies. He's probably going to die as well. And that's just a bad fight. Just kind of poor positioning. If we take a look at that again, you have to understand that Arctic Burn isn't just useful for damage. It's also useful in order to position yourself. So pretty much right when the TA starts walking down the ramp, you should just Arctic Burn and go up here, and that is a good Winter's Curse right there. Right there. That is like the beauty Winter's Curse. This SF just absolutely chews him alive. Instead, you're running away from like a solo TA along with your Bristleback who plays that pretty shittily as well. And then now your SF's like, shit, where's my team? They're running away from a singular TA. Why is this happening? Yeah, she's strong, but there's 3 of you. And you don't even like Winter's Curse her in order to get a kill or something. So you literally use 0 abilities in that team fight other than a Glimmer Cape. And I probably sound like a huge asshole right now because I'm just coming down on your team fight. But, I mean, when you're playing a hero as important as Wyvern, that's how you have to play it, right? You have to remember, okay, I can Arctic Burn, run up the cliff, and get a huge Winter's Curse up. That Golem would have been hitting the Gyrocopter, the Lena, even the Warlock would have stopped channeling his slow. That would have helped my Bristleback get back in. That would have been an absolutely massive play. Instead, unfortunately, you guys lose a 4 for nil or 4 for 1 trade or something. And now they're likely to take a Roshan off that, I believe, since it's going to be up very soon here. Your SF needs souls. The Gyrocopter has Butterfly. This guy's nowhere near MKB. He's getting Manta for some weird reason. I should be keeping an eye on you again. You go for a Medallion, not bad. I like Solar Crest. You guys smoke in. You should back out immediately. You get a nice Winter's Curse. He's got Aegis. Fight's over because they're going to kill you for an Aegis, and that's game right there pretty much. So, some pretty poor team fights, honestly. You got to be really, really aware of your team. You shouldn't really have the camera on yourself. You should have it on the SF or you know, whichever core you're looking to protect. Instead, you kind of ran in the pit there. That was a pretty big mistake, and honestly, it was potentially one of the mistakes that costed you the game, right? So there's a lot of mistakes from a lot of players that happen throughout a game. That happened to be a pretty major one, and you guys end up losing despite the fact that you're kind of far ahead. You help out mid, but you do it in the wrong way. Remember, you want to use it a couple times. You want to use it, go stack. By that time, it'll be off cooldown. It's like 40 some seconds at level 1. I don't know. I think it's too late for me to check now. $50 seconds at level 1. So 50-second cooldown. Basically, you run up, you use it at like whatever mark when the creeps are in the mid lane. Back up, you stack this large camp, and you go back for one more Arctic Burn, and by that time the SF should be fine. Unless there's a dual lane, there's like a T8 Bane or something, which probably won't happen in any pub under like 4K. You don't really need to dual lane mid. You need to help him out once, like instantly, that's it. Get rid of the refractions early on, because SF's hardest time is between levels 1 and 3, I would say. After that, he just absolutely dominates the lane. If you're able to stack for him, even if he's like a little bit behind in the lane, you have probably 3 or 4 large camps, maybe even 1 medium camp stack, and you just turn around and just completely take over the mid game with that gold boost as well. So keep that in mind when you're helping out your mid player. You kind of didn't do all that much early on. You were a little bit lost. You had some alright warding and dewarding throughout the game. You did a good job keeping up with that. Your ability usage probably could have been better. Just work. I would mostly focus on like your team fighting in general. It seems like you're a little bit lost during your team fights. You're unsure of what you should be doing. That last team fight, most importantly, you didn't really get anything off, and because of it, you guys end up losing. Because of that and a lot of stuff. Did this guy get... Okay, I don't know if that's a bug or if that guy literally just got 2 of the same thing, but anyways, hopefully I wasn't too harsh on you. It's nice just watching a game and seeing your mistakes and saying, shit, man, I really need to work on my team fighting. Itemization was fine. Early on, you spent a little bit too much time in the bottom lane. Remember when your heroes like Dazzle, Winter Wyvern, Tuskar support even, it's really important that you do a lot of work on early rotations. Keeping somebody alive or ensuring 1 or 2 more kills in a team fight is very important, because Wyvern, Dazzle, these heroes are really strong early game, and it's really difficult for the enemy to make movements around the map, because if you just completely null that movement with a Cold Embrace into Arctic Burn, Splinter Blast, you can turn around and get some kills there. You probably could have had a much better early game. Instead, you guys lose 3 heroes top a couple times, so just keep that in mind, man. You still played well. You still had a couple nice ultis, and other than that, I think you're only going to get better the more you play. So just keep playing. You know, watch your own replays if you can. It helps to just watch your own replays and notice your mistakes. There was a lot of time you could have been stacking. You know, early on I said put that ward on the high ground for the TA so you can keep an eye on her ancients. She didn't do her ancients, but it's things like that you should be thinking about, right? So just remember stuff like that. And you're only going to get better at Dota as long as you keep playing. Don't let yourself get stuck in a rut. I'm sure you'll get better. Thanks for the replay, man, and good luck. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series from lane to lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dota Buff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.